Welcome back to the channel. Today we have something really exciting, another concept video, another thing to wrap your mind around. We're here at Derek on Chain. We put out the greatest info, the greatest content on the crypto space. Today's really cool. What I have written for you here is going to help us understand a few key concepts when we're thinking about crypto markets. If any of you have ever looked at coinmarketcap.com or CoinGecko, you're going to see lots of things on there. The main thing you're going to see would be price, right? So the main reason we're going on to something like coinmarketcap.com is to see the price of the token. So right away, you're going to see how much Bitcoin is. It's $30,000. How much ADA is. 30 cents today, right? And so what I've written you here is the price of ADA up at the top. So this is going to be like ADA. We're going to model ADA. Okay, the Crypto Fluency channel, Derek on Chain. We focus on the ADA blockchain, Cardano blockchain. So you have price. What other things are important on CoinMarketCap? The market cap itself. That's why it's called CoinMarketCap. So you have price, you have market cap, and then you also have another important metric, which is circulating supply, okay? Circulating supply right here. Okay, so price, market cap, circulating supply. What do these mean? Okay, and how are they calculated? And that's what we're going to go through right now. We're going to go through how we can understand how the price is even calculated. Okay, what the market cap is. So if you don't know what market cap is, it is how much money altogether is in, let's say, Bitcoin at this given time. How much money completely altogether is in ADA, Cardano. And so right now today, okay, this is what we're looking at today. There is $12 billion in the Cardano market cap, give or take, right? This is why it's kind of like approximately $12 billion. And for that, we're going to get 30 cents. Now, how do we calculate the price of something? Okay, if we want to find the price, what we're going to need to do is divide the market cap by the circulating supply. Okay, so if you take $12 billion and then you go look at the market, at the circulating supply of ADA, which is around 34 billion, you're going to get 30 cents. If you take the Bitcoin, for instance, if you take Bitcoin is right now, give or take like $580 billion, and you divide that by the circulating supply, which is around 19.4 million, you're going to get around $30,000, okay? And so this is how this calculation is done in real time by oracles to calculate price. And so it's important to understand what market cap is and circulating supply. So I mentioned circulating supply in that valuation and how we dictate price. So what is circulating supply? So every single token that comes out has a current circulating supply. And then there is like a total supply. So Bitcoin's total supply, we all know, is 21 million Bitcoins that will ever be minted. And so right now the circulating supply is 19.4 million. So it's less than that 21 million. So for the next several, I think even decades, they're going to be minting Bitcoins until they reach that 21 million mark. Okay, so Bitcoin's been around for a long time, and a lot of its supply has already been released over the past almost 16 years here at this point. We're going up to a 16-year delta on Bitcoin's, since Bitcoin's inception. And so ADA, Cardano, right, the one I like to focus on, their total supply is 45 billion. And if you look in CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko and you just like click on and you actually start to just take your time and look at all of the charts and the information they have, they're going to give you an exact percentage of how much circulating supply is out in relation to the entire total supply, okay? And so 45 billion is that total supply amount with ADA, and so there are 34 billion out. Now, why is that important? It's important because it can show you how much token, in their tokenomics, how many of these have already been released, okay? And so there's already a fair amount of the ADA released. And then this is how I try to strategize, and we're gonna go through some of these here, calculations, to just sort of think about price, okay? Because everybody is always concerned about price. So to increase the price of ADA, to double the price, this is what we're looking at. To double the price of ADA, from ADA to go to 30 cents to 60 cents, well, what's going to need to happen is that the market cap's going to have to double. Okay, so and this is all kind of approximate, but it's going to need to double from 12 billion to 24 billion. It's as simple as that. Once $24 billion comes into the market cap of Cardano, you're going to see a price of 60 cents. Okay, it doubles again to 48 billion, you're going to see $1.20, right? 96 billion, you're going to see around $2.50, okay? And this is kind of where, like right here, this is where Bitcoin was. Bitcoin was at around that $3 mark, okay? Over $100 billion market cap total. That's like the metric that Cardano lasted. You know, that's what it achieved when it achieved its previous all-time high. At the same time Cardano hit its all-time high of $3, Bitcoin hit around 67, almost $70,000, and when you did the calculation then, and you divided that market cap by the total supply, it was around that $67,000 mark. The market cap at that time for Bitcoin was around $1 trillion. Okay, so it had crested that $1 trillion market cap, the coveted $1 trillion market cap. And so I like to think of Bitcoin as a leader to follow. It's the OG, it's the original, right? And it gives us a lot of space to wrap our mind around what could potentially go on with some heavy hitter altcoins like Cardano. Okay, so it's a great guide. Bitcoin is a guide. So I'm constantly studying Bitcoin. I'm constantly studying the Bitcoin charts and doing these calculations. And when you do this, you're actually becoming more educated in what you're determining as outcomes of price. Okay, so when people say, oh, ADA could go to $10, ADA could go to $30 or $3, I think people are just throwing out these prices without really wrapping their mind around what it's going to take to get those prices. Okay, so let's move down. Around $5, you're looking at $195 billion market cap. By the way, 2, 3, 4, 5, to get that market cap here, you're looking at like something like Toyota, like a company like Toyota or a company like Shell. That is actually around the same market cap as this would be here, right? So you're thinking, does this project that I'm invested in, is it going to have more or less value than perhaps a company like Toyota? That's kind of what I think of sometimes. My answer is absolutely yes. I think Cardano has a lot more to offer the world than vehicles or gasoline or something like this. And there are a lot of gas companies, like Shell is just one of them, and they're all different market caps. I think Shell, doing my research, is around this price of market cap, okay? Moving further down, around the $10 mark, if Cardano were to hit $10, it's going to have to be pushing the $400 billion market cap, okay? And companies like Home Depot, okay? MasterCard are in this realm. So I asked myself the question, do I think Cardano has more to offer the world than Home Depot? I think it does. I think it absolutely does. See, these cryptocurrencies, most of these projects, they're global. Okay, Cardano absolutely being a global project, receiving monies from everywhere. Okay, every country. I think there's like 100 plus countries that are involved with Cardano. Japan is heavily into it. China, Russia, India. Okay, many countries in Europe, United States. Home Depot is really doing business here in the United States. So I think Cardano could have something to offer here. And do I think Cardano could hit the $10 mark? For sure. In this bull market, I don't know. But definitely in this lifetime, absolutely. So we're moving on down. We're kind of approaching the $1 trillion market cap here. And for Cardano to hit $20 ADA, for one ADA, one token to be $20, you're going to be around the $800 billion market cap. Okay? And so like Berkshire Hathaway, Facebook here, these are companies that are involved in this realm, this category. And then I ask myself that question. So you can ask yourself the question too. You might not think that Cardano has more to offer the world than Facebook. Okay? I tend to disagree with that. I think that Cardano will have more to offer the world than a company like Facebook. Cardano is seeking to be the financial hub for the world. It's seeking to do a lot of financial instrument work for the world. And it is, in my view, leading the race for smart contracts. Okay, so smart contracts, to me, are going to be the future. And if I look at the value of what it would be like to win or become one of the leaders of the smart contract race, that is tens and tens of trillions of dollars, okay, of value. You're talking about the ability to revolutionize the way that we transact with each other. Okay, so if you don't know what smart contracts are, go ahead and do some deep dives on smart contracts. Cardano is paving the way and doing massive leaps and bound type work in many countries, especially in Africa, what they're doing. Smart contracts are going to be the future. And so yes, I feel like Cardano has a little bit more to offer. So 1.5 trillion. So if Cardano is going to go, I just chose 1.5 trillion because I wanted to go beyond the $1 trillion market cap place. 1.5 trillion, you're going to be looking at a $38 to $40 Cardano for one. 1.5 trillion. Companies like Amazon, Google are around here. Okay? Yeah, massive companies. Tesla's at about $1 trillion market cap, Tesla. Right? You're looking at Microsoft here. Microsoft is like 2.6, and Google, 3 trillion. 3 trillion right there. Actually, excuse me. Apple is right here. Apple being 3 trillion, right? So you got Apple right there. Okay, Microsoft. And then Tesla. These are those market caps. Okay, so it's just a little bit of food for thought to understand how to factor in price. And so how a cryptocurrency brings in capital is also something I want to look at. Like what is the utility of the company? Right? We all understand that Tesla has a utility, that Microsoft has a utility, Apple, right? And all these companies like Toyota and Shell, and I think up here like Zillow and Subaru are actually right up here at this one. You got like Roblox. You got like Roblox here at this market cap. You got like Roblox. You got Zoom. Okay, like the insurance company Aflac is here in this one. Aflac, companies like Hershey. Okay, you got Starbucks around here. Starbucks. CVS, these are companies. Do your research. Think about these. This is really I like doing stuff like this, and it's just fun stuff to do for me. And like I already said, where this is like Toyota, Shell, we got Home Depot, and these are companies. So you have to ask, well, we understand the utility. We understand what Home Depot does. And I think for most of us, when we think of ADA, we don't understand. Most of us don't understand. Like, well, what's the utility? Like, why could ADA draw in capital? Like, how could ADA's market cap ever get to 1.5 trillion or 3 trillion? Okay, or 10 trillion, dare I say. It's the ability for ADA. See, ADA, what ADA is, it is a layer 1, and if you watch my stuff, you might hear me say this a lot. ADA is a layer 1 blockchain. So ADA is focused on building an enterprise based on security. Okay, so their blockchain, a layer 1 blockchain's focus is on extreme secure network, and that is what ADA is doing fantastic with. Okay, they piggybacked off of what Bitcoin was so successful for. They have something called a UTXO model. It's unspent transaction output model, far different from any account-based model that banks use right now in the way the financial world works. Okay, Ethereum is actually also an account-based model blockchain. And so Cardano figured out how to use the extended, they actually use the UTXO model and call it what they call the extended UTXO. So there's a little bit more expressive ability in their layer 1 blockchain, and without lacking any of the security. So how on earth will it scale? Well, let's think of what a layer 2 is. Layer 2s. Okay, let's just focus on this layer 2 situation. If ADA, Cardano is a layer 1, well, here are layer 2s that are out there. And a layer 2 could be a DeFi, a decentralized finance protocol, a money lending, and so examples of that could be money lending protocols, decentralized exchanges, NFT money lending protocols. There could be other layer 2s like metaverses, AI projects. The list really goes on and on and on. And right now there are thousands of layer 2 projects building on Cardano's blockchain. And so my theory is that if I'm a developer, and I want to build on a blockchain, so I don't want to build a blockchain, I don't want to take the crazy work necessary to build an entire blockchain, which is extremely difficult. I want to choose a blockchain to build my metaverse on, to build my Oracle solution on, to build my DeFi project on, to build my artificial intelligence project on, okay? To build my predictable networks, like my poker game or something, right? If I want to build a poker game and I know that I want to build on a blockchain, I'm going to try to select my layer 1. And so ADA, in my opinion, is a great choice. There are other good layer 1s out there. Ethereum is a layer 1. But it is my view that with the integrity and the smart contract situation, which the layer 2s have to rely on, the layer 2s have to rely on the smart contract development of the layer 1. So there's all kinds of things. There's micro fees, there's payments that are going to happen on the blockchain. And you as a layer 2 want to rely on the fact that your layer 1 has thought about all of these problems, these choke points that can happen as the blockchain needs to find its consensus and transactions need to be validated. And if you're a metaverse, you have a tremendous amount of microtransactions that are occurring in your game all the time, and you want a smooth process. I feel like ADA will be the choice for the years to come for not only layer 2s building on a blockchain, but governments, I think, are going to utilize ADA's technology like governments use Google. okay? Governments use Google, governments use Microsoft. The NFL uses Microsoft for their iPads and stuff, right? And so companies use different brands for different things. And it is my view that ADA is going to be the choice of a lot of global companies, ones that you know about and ones that you don't even know about. And that's how, in my view, ADA has a bright future ahead. And so where will it go? I don't know. I'm not trying to tell you that I'm predicting a price. You know, could it be somewhere around here in this upcoming bull cycle? For sure, for sure. You know, could it be something here? This would be crazy. If you watch my Rogue Wave video, you're going to see that sometimes there's a rogue wave that can come and elements come together and produce a ginormous bubble. Well, if a rogue wave comes, sure, this could be the price. It could also be somewhere around here. Who knows? But this is for you to understand how we get these valuations, okay? How we get it. And if you want to know what the circulating supply is, all right, just real quick, you're going to divide the market cap by the price. So if you take the market cap of Bitcoin, which is like 580 billion, you need to divide it by $30,000. You're going to get the token supply, the circulating supply. And so it's wonderful to actually do that for yourself in real time, and it's a healthy practice to do those measurements in real time so that you can understand more about what you're doing. All right? So from then on, I'll leave you with that to think of, and we'll see you all in another video soon. Don't miss out on our August challenge themed 10% of what you make is yours to keep. Okay, if you take care of the pennies, the dollars will take care of themselves. Make sure you join below so you qualify for our giveaways. See you soon.